Rain is one of Earth's most essential elements. It nurtures life, fills rivers and lakes, and shapes the landscapes around us. But have you ever wondered what would happen if it stopped raining forever? How would the world adapt or collapse? Today, we're diving into a world without rain, exploring how life, ecosystems, and civilizations would face this unimaginable challenge. Rain is much more than just water falling from the sky. It's the lifeblood of our planet. Every drop replenishes aquifers, irrigates crops, and sustains forests. Rain drives the water cycle, keeping rivers flowing and wetlands thriving. Without it, life as we know it wouldn't exist. But what if the skies went silent forever? The answers might surprise you. In the first few weeks without rain, life might seem normal, especially in regions with existing water reserves. Rivers would continue to flow for a time, fed by melting snow or stored groundwater. But cracks would start to show. Crops would wither in fields, unable to draw moisture from dry soil. Reservoirs and lakes would shrink as evaporation outpaces replenishment. Even in cities, water shortages would quickly become a pressing issue. People would scramble to conserve every drop, knowing the rain might never return. Wildlife too would feel the strain. Animals reliant on seasonal rains, like elephants and wildebeests, would find their waterholes disappearing. Birds that migrate to follow the rains would be left stranded. Within weeks, ecosystems would begin to unravel, setting off a chain reaction that would affect every living thing. As months turn into years, the absence of rain would devastate Earth's freshwater systems. Rivers like the Amazon, the Ganges, and the Mississippi would dry up, leaving behind barren riverbeds. Groundwater reserves, often called Earth's hidden reservoirs, would deplete as humans extract more water than the land can provide. Desalination plants might expand to turn seawater into drinkable water, but this solution would be costly and unsustainable for much of the world. The loss of fresh water would lead to unprecedented food shortages. Agriculture, which depends heavily on rain-fed irrigation, would collapse. Crops like wheat, rice, and corn would become scarce, leading to global famine. Livestock would perish, and the burden of feeding billions would fall on innovative but limited technologies like hydroponics and lab-grown food. The planet's ecosystems would reach a breaking point. Forests like the Amazon and Congo, which depend on rainfall to maintain their lush canopies, would begin to die off. Deserts would expand, consuming grasslands and pushing wildlife to the brink of extinction. Coastal areas would face a double threat: rising sea levels from melting glaciers and the intrusion of salt water into dwindling freshwater supplies. Without rain, Earth's ability to regulate temperature would falter. Rain cools the planet and helps distribute heat. Its absence would lead to intensified heat waves, making some regions uninhabitable. The loss of vegetation would worsen climate change, as fewer plants mean less carbon dioxide absorbed from the atmosphere. This feedback loop would accelerate global warming, creating a hotter, drier, and more hostile planet. Human ingenuity would be pushed to its limits. Cities might construct massive pipelines to transport water from the few remaining freshwater sources. Advanced water recycling systems would become mandatory, capturing and purifying every drop of wastewater. However, these solutions would only benefit wealthy nations, leaving millions in poorer regions to face water scarcity alone. Innovations like atmospheric water generators, which extract moisture from the air, could become more widespread. But even these technologies have limits. As humidity levels drop without rain, the air itself would become drier, making such devices less effective. Societies might turn to extreme measures, such as geoengineering, to artificially stimulate rainfall. But these experiments could backfire, creating unintended consequences for an already fragile planet. On a societal level, the competition for water would escalate into conflicts. Wars over water resources could become common as nations and communities struggle to secure this most precious resource. Migration on a massive scale would follow, with millions fleeing drought-stricken regions in search of habitable land. Beyond the physical consequences, the psychological impact of a rainless world would be profound. Rain has always been a symbol of renewal, cleansing, and life itself. Its absence would weigh heavily on human spirit. Cultures that celebrate rain through festivals, songs, and rituals would lose a vital part of their identity. People would long for the sound of raindrops, the smell of wet earth, and the sight of clouds gathering on the horizon. It's a reminder that rain isn't just a natural phenomenon, it's deeply intertwined with who we are. After decades without rain, Earth would become almost unrecognizable. Deserts would dominate the landscape, with only the hardiest species surviving in isolated pockets of life. Oceans might hold on to some biodiversity, but their ecosystems would also suffer from changes in temperature and salinity. The planet, once lush and vibrant, would resemble a barren wasteland, more like Mars than the Earth we know today. If humanity manages to survive, it would be through a complete transformation of how we live. Underground cities, shielded from the heat, might become the norm. Energy would shift entirely to renewables, and technologies to conserve and generate water would dictate the future of civilization. But this new world would be one of constant struggle, a far cry from the balance and abundance we once knew. So, what if it never rained again? The answer is clear. Life as we know it would collapse, leaving behind a world unrecognizable to us today. But this thought experiment isn't just a glimpse into a dystopian future. It's a reminder of how fragile our planet's systems are and how much we depend on the delicate balance of nature. Rain is a gift, one we often take for granted. By protecting our planet's ecosystems and combating climate change, we can ensure that the skies never go silent. Thank you for joining us on this journey into a world without rain. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and remember to cherish the wonders of our natural world.